thanks for joining us on our big 10-year anniversary holiday show. I'm Bobby P.
And I'm Rocky Holland.
And I am joined by a very dear friend of mine who's been on the show 6 times. Unfortunately, former town councilman now, who's going to actually devote more time to the family and actually your legal career probably. You've been doing both, so now you have a little bit more time. And Rod and Chris, you've made wine drinking great again for me. So thank you, my man.
Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
But we're in our 10th year. This is our 10th anniversary show, Rocky. And we have some interesting wines for the holidays, which I think go with holiday foods.
Yeah. We've I kind of switched gears at the last minute because I was going to bring a couple of really weird, cool, esoteric Italian wines, an Italian white and an Italian red. But then I thought, this is the holidays. I need to get wine that you can just get anywhere. And I think I've got a couple right there that are very reasonably priced that will pretty much impress your guests that are coming over for Christmas. I guess this won't be Thanksgiving, this will be Christmas, or Hanukkah. Yeah, the holidays and New Year's. Very versatile wine. So I went from Italy over to France. Last minute decision. Let's hope that it goes. Let's hope that it goes well.
And Chris, I think you like pretty much all kinds of wine, don't you, in general?
Yes, I like, and particularly on the show, you guys have exposed me to a lot of diverse wine offerings, and always appreciate the knowledge. So I'm looking forward to it.
And maybe one of the ones on the table you can try for you and the family for yourself. Well, not for the little ones, of course, but you and the wife.
My 8 and 6-year-old. Yeah.
These are French wines. We're not in France.
We're not exactly.
You can't give the wines to the kids here in the States.
Nor are you encouraging that.
That's right. I'm not encouraging that.
No, that'll stunt your growth.
Yes.
But so I want to do something special for Rocky because I know we're both fans of Cava, but I know Rocky, you're a big fan of Cava, and so the first wine, which I found here locally, and actually in West Hartford, is the Bohegas Cava Brut. And Rocky said you have not tried this one.
I don't think so, no.
And just to let you know, it's supposedly it's rated as one of the top Cavas in the United States right now. So I have not tried this. I have bought this about a month ago, saving it for the show. And let me pass your glass to me there, Chris.
Sure. You want me to pass yours?
Yeah, sure.
And whenever somebody says it's ranked as one of the best Cavas or one of the best wines in the United States, you know, you're always going to raise your eyebrows a little bit. But I did some more research on this, and it's a 4.5, 5-star Cava across the board.
I didn't spit in it. So. I might have, actually.
And we have had Cavas on the show many times, so I'm kind of curious if our palate's going to be able to tell the difference with this one that's supposedly ranked as one of the best in the United States.
So with Cava, you're going to expect a little bit of a lemon lime zest, maybe kind of a bread brioche thing, and perhaps some peach in there. So let's see where we go with it.
It's got a good
one
aroma.
Of the top rated. Yeah. I do smell that bread.
Well, I got to say something right off the bat. That is delicious, and it tastes almost like our actual champagne. It's got that breadiness to it, the yeastiness.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's got a real strong aroma. Even when you brought it over here and poured it, filled up.
Yep. It's been about 10 seconds since I took that sip. It's still
It's
developing
still there,
on the
isn't it?
palate. I'm picking up wine geeky terms, secondary and tertiary flavors of, I'm going to say bread, I'm going to say lemon, and maybe a little bit of a peach thing.
Why does that happen, Rocky? Why do you get additional flavors?
Because there's the front palate and there's the back palate. There's just different areas where the effervescence, where first it hits your tongue, and then you've got areas in the back that it kind of gets into and just spins around. The aromas and everything just kind of hit the back palate. And
I got to ask you something, Rob, because I know your palate is much more sophisticated, than mine, but if you would give me a glass of this blind, I don't know if I would be able to tell this is a Cava.
I would think it's champagne. Yeah,
this is really surprising to me. It is a little bit more expensive than the average Cava. I think this is between $16.99 and $18.99. If you're looking for this, I believe Park Road Liquors has it, and I'm not sure if the 2 other big stores, Madison, have it, but it is available at Park Road Liquors. And they were really pushing this. They had the signage, which is why I did the research, extolling its virtues and extolling how good it is. And I gotta be honest with you, I really think this is really good. It really reminds me of a champagne.
It reminds me of champagne. In fact, I was just reminiscing with Rocky, talking about champagne. You and I were at a wedding some years ago where there was a champagne toast, and one of us got caught on fire.
Yeah, that's actually true. I did catch on fire. It's actually a good New Year's Christmas story to tell to the family. And
You got caught on fire at a
I
wedding.
did catch on fire, yes. I was so engaged in conversation with Mr. Chris Williams. Who knows what we were talking about? I had my back against the bar where, unfortunately, the bar had candles on the bar table. And I had my tuxedo jacket off, and I was so engaged in the conversation, it was Chris who said, "Bob,
What's
you're
that
smoking.
smell?
I think you're on fire."
Yes.
In a very serious tone, but in a very nonchalant tone. So I literally could have burst into flames, and I don't think anybody would care. But sure enough, I was on fire in the back,
Yeah.
and Chris tapped my back and put me out.
Yeah.
But I did walk around the rest of the night with a hole in my shirt at that wedding, which actually made it a pretty good wedding, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a story. I mean, it's a story to tell. That's
a
a
good
story
story.
that's not at all funny in the moment, but it's hysterical the next day, right?
Yes.
Well, when you see somebody dancing on the dance floor with an untucked tuxedo shirt with a big black burnt mark on his white shirt, seeing his actual back, people at the wedding probably remembered it too. So,
Wow.
You probably didn't make the wedding album, though.
no, I don't think so. Do you remember what the song is we danced to at that wedding? I think, was it? It might have been the theme to the Game of Thrones. I was really into that back then. I think they played it at that wedding, wasn't they?
It sounds familiar.
It does sound familiar.
It sounds
But thanks for saving my life, Chris.
Well,
Actually, that's worth a toast with the last sip of it. Thanks
yeah.
for saving my life, Chris.
Yeah, toast to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that beats the dog treat story. So we'll tell that on another show.
But I will say,
great.
the Bohigas Cava people, you will find this before the holidays. Like I said, it's available here in town. Give that a shot for an actual champagne tasting bubbles. You will not be disappointed.
That's really dry. That's just delicious.
It's
Wow.
great.
I like this.
It really is
Would you agree it's probably one of the better Cavas you've had?
Yeah, it's probably the best cava I've ever had. And cava's, you can get a good cava for $10.
Yep.
And there's a lot of care that goes into this particular wine, but this one, what's the price point on this one again?
I think it was between 17 and 18.99.
Not bad at all, yeah. Because to get a champagne that's of this quality, you're
It's
going
going
to
to
be
be
paying
over
twice that. yeah.
probably $30. The cheapest champagne you could probably get is between $28 and maybe $34. That's probably the bare cheapest. There might be a few. Actually, well, the Costco one. There's no
The
one.
Costco one was good, yeah.
And that's under $30, isn't it?
I want to say that one was around 25,
25.
or as we say on this show, between 24 and 26. For legal purposes, we have our legal team here with us today, so that we don't.
but this is great.
And you have to admit, that's going to go good with ham. That's going to go with turkey. Well, actually, you're going to be drinking that even before you have the meal. So that's just, I think it's a winner.
And the good thing about sparkling wines like this, as long as they're good wines. If they're crappy, you don't want to serve it with any food. But a good versatile cava like this is going to go with anything. I'm talking steak, ham, turkey, chicken. It's the most versatile wine on the planet. Champagne, cava. So,
All right, so thumbs up all the way around for the first one.
Absolutely.
2 thumbs up for that one.
My second choice, and this is going to be, like I said, a lot of people like Sauvignon Blancs, especially for the holidays. Easter, Thanksgiving usually goes good with white meat. But I have found that as I age a little bit, that big citrus bomb that you get from Marlboro Sauvignon Blancs, I can't take as much as I used to. So I've
man,
toned it down.
It's like it's a passion fruit and pink grapefruit bomb.
I used to love it, but I
Yeah,
don't anymore.
I've warmed up to it, but again, it's got to be the middle of July for me to like that stuff.
Well, that's why, guys, I think you might like this one. I think this is a California Sauvignon Blanc, Thrive, and I'll let you start pouring down there this time, Rocky.
Oh, yeah.
And this particular one, I think, I can't remember where I got it, but it is local. You have to do some research on it, but it's available in
You want me to do it?
Connecticut.
Sure. Thanks, man.
It is a toned down Marlboro Sauvignon Blanc. And most California Sauvignon Blancs are definitely going to be certainly more toned down than a Marlboro. But I really fell in love with this one over the last couple months before the end of the summer. And I've been saving this one, Rocky, too, for us, because I know you're sort of like me. You said you did get used to the big citrusy Sauvignon Blancs, but
Sauvignon Blanc is so cool because it is so different. I can't think of any other wine that is so different from region to region. So if you go to like the Loire River Valley, you're going to get like lemon and peach thing. It almost tastes like Pinot Grigio to me. But if you go to New Zealand, you're going to get this just grapefruit, passion fruit bomb in your face. If you go to the States, you can get like tropical fruit flavors to it. And it's just weird the way this is the exact same grape, but it can have so many expressions.
Yeah.
I mean, if you taste Cabernet, whether it comes from, it might be a little herbal if it comes from Chile, or, it might be if it's Bordeaux and Napa, they basically taste the same. There's this kind of thing that's continuous to all Cabernet. There's this thing that's continuous to all Chardonnay, and it can be all over the spectrum too, but I think that Sauvignon Blanc is just a wine that is so different depending on where on the globe that you get it.
So this is definitely a different one, and this is more in line with what my palate has been going towards. It's much more mild, sort of like a Pinot Grigio, but has a little bit of that Sauvignon Blanc kick. So curious what you're going to think, Chris. I think you like the Marlboro Sauvignon Blancs, don't you?
Yeah, I do. My wife does a lot, so
Yeah.
that means I do.
This will definitely not be a Marlboro Sauvignon Blanc.
We started buying, I think we had on a couple shows ago, the Kim Crawford in the can. We buy it by the can, because sometimes you don't want to open an entire bottle. That's a good way to go with the New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
In the can. Nothing says class like canned wine, right?
Well, you don't know it came from a can if you've already poured it before the person actually saw where you
That's
poured it
true.
from.
And I was working the election the other night at the Gastro Park. They had canned Chocolina wine. That's a Spanish, almost semi-sparkling white wine. It's one of the coolest wines anywhere. And they had it in a can. And I go up to the counter. I'm like, this is going to be all beer. I can't get any wine here. And they had Chocolina in a can. I was like, are you kidding me? Yes, that's what I want.
Did that
It
impact
was
the flavor?
actually pretty good.
Does the can impact the flavor versus a bottle?
I'll tell you what the problem with cans is that it's actually one of these things that I think 10 years from now, you're going to say a lot more high quality canned wine. One of the problems with cans, though, that I found in particular with this Kim Crawford, you get a little bit of funkiness to them sometimes, and it's because in the lack of oxygen, you get something called reduction. And you don't get any oxygen. If you look at a wine bottle at the very top there, you've got a little bit of oxygen in there. And sometimes you can get this with screw tops, but I've found with the cans, you get something called reduction, and it can get a little funky, almost rotten eggshell. Not extreme rotten, but it's just got this funk to it. So I don't know how they're going to get away from that, but that's the biggest problem that I have with canned wine.
So what do we think, guys?
I think it's great. I mean, I think it's very flavorful. Flavorful.
But mild, right?
Yeah, not too strong at all.
Would you even guess that was a Sauvignon Blanc if I didn't tell you it was a Sauvignon Blanc?
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I would
guessed
have a
that.
hard time. And it's not because it doesn't taste like a California Sauvignon Blanc. It's because the reason I don't drink a lot of California Sauvignon Blanc is because it's so much more expensive than some of the other Sauvignon Blancs. Certainly New Zealand is kind of on the cheaper end. It's very mass harvested. The Loirs, the Sancerres can be really expensive. Those sell for north of $40 or $50 a bottle. And sometimes the ones that come from California can be a little on the higher end price. I don't know what this one costs.
Well, that's what I was going to get to. So I tried to keep everything, at least my two selections, not breaking the budget during the holiday time, because you might have to buy 2 or 3 bottles, depending on how big your parties are going to be, or how big your family's going to be. So the Thrive, the Sauvignon Blanc, is between $13.99 and $15.99.
That's not bad at all.
It's like you said, for California especially, that's not bad.
I could see drinking this with a nice meal and snow being outside. It's got that crisp feeling to it.
It's got
Kinda-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a wintertime white wine feel.
Yes.
But not cloying and not heavy.
If you had to name the fruit that you taste in it, what would you say? I'm almost getting a little bit of a tropical note to it, like a
I'm going to say just a hint of orange, and maybe just a tad,
orange tangerine thing. Yeah.
maybe a comp of blood fruit or blood orange.
yeah.
But no grapefruit. Definitely,
I don't get any New Zealand. And another thing that you get in a lot of Sauvignon Blancs is kind of a grassy herbal characteristic
Yeah.
to it. I'm not going to say the chemical because my lovely wife has forbid me from ever using that word again on this show.
have
She said
used
you
it,
sound way too nerdy and
But
you
I like
use it
it.
too much. So I'm not going to say
No, go ahead, say it. It's Christmas.
methoxypyrazine. Yeah, it's this doesn't have any of that kind of herbal thing to it.
It's a nice bottle, by the way. Thrive.
I love California just has the coolest
Yeah.
bottles anywhere.
It does. It's got that
really
cachet.
all the French bottles. I mean, look, Louis Jadot. He's just all this same crap. He's just this guy that puts all his bottles out there. Everybody knows it, but the California labels are really
Yeah.
It's a 12% alcohol, by the way, which I think is in line with most Sauvignon Blancs,
Yeah.
I believe, roughly.
pretty much, yeah.
But I think what you'll like, especially like I said, you're going to be seeing this show during Christmas and New Year's. It's the kind of wine that you even don't have to have food with. It's certainly going to be fine just drinking on its own.
It's really good.
with either your turkey or whatever you have.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say if you're going to have a roast beef or a prime rib. It's gonna
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do a steak with this one, but I would certainly do turkey, chicken, pork.
And it's been sitting out for about 40 minutes, and it still has a chill to it, which I think if
Oh,
we're
yeah.
drinking at about the temperature, we probably should drink it.
That's definitely good. Chill.
Yeah. I've always said on the show, Chris, that I drink my white wines way too cold. And when you drink them way too cold, you lose some of that flavor that just pops you in the face. And so this one's sat out for a little while, and it's enjoyable.
And I actually tell both Chris and Rocky, I actually brought in my Riddell glasses for a change, which I don't generally bring into the show.
Oh,
So
did
we are-
you?
We are drinking out of the Riddell? What's the correct pronunciation?
Riedel. Riedel is a football helmet.
It is, that's right.
Riedel, it's spelled like it should be Riedel, and I believe I called it Riedel for the better half of a year before someone corrected me. I believe it vented one day. It is Riedel, and for my money, Riedel makes the best glassware that you can get. Didn't you have a show one time?
We did
before I
years
was on
ago,
here,
which we're
where you
supposed to
compared
do.
glassware.
And there
I would
was a
love to
difference.
do that again. Yeah.
There was absolute difference between a good quality wine glass, and there were other ones besides Riedel, but there was
Yeah,
a huge difference.
There's a one called Zalto. Those are a little bit more expensive, I think, even than the Riedels. But I would love to do just a really high end, and then the Riedel, and then your classic dollar at the Marshall's closeout kind of wine glass, and just see how they compare.
And the thinner the glass is probably makes a difference too. So the higher end glass is even more thin than even the Riedel.
I don't know. I know it breaks open in the dishwasher a little bit easier.
Yeah,
than
we've
the-
all learned that one.
So these Riedel glasses, man, I have lost so many to you really shouldn't wash your wine glasses in the dishwasher anyway, because it leaves that a little bit of soapy residue, and you don't want to compromise the wine, and true wine geeks will tell you don't ever do that.
Well, here's a question for you. That's true, but what's if you just use the hot water setting and you don't use soap?
Yep, that's what you can do.
So I think that would be a safer way to go instead of putting the detergent in.
It's a good thought.
Yeah, if you're putting 20 wine glasses in there, and which I tend to go through in an average night, right? No, but if it's just 2 wine glasses in there with the rest of the dishes, I'm like, I kind of want the soap thing to clean the spaghetti off the plate that's beneath it. So I don't know what to do. You really should just wash them by hand, but I am not a professional enough to be able to tell the difference between a wine glass that has been cleaned by hand and one that has gone through a dish cycle. I'm sorry to say, folks of West Hartford and other areas watching this. If you want to boot me off the show right now, I totally
I
would
think
understand.
when we had Jacob on from Wise Old Dog many years ago, or actually we might have filmed actually in his shop back in the day, he said he could tell pretty easily between a hand wash glass and a dishwasher glass. But that's Jacob, and if you know Jacob, he probably could. All right, so I'm going to give my thumbs up to the Thrive.
Yeah.
I think it's a great holiday choice. I think you'd be very satisfied with it. The price point's not going to break the bank. And I think it would please most people who like Sauvignon Blanc's palate.
Thumbs up for me,
Thumbs
too.
up.
I agree.
So now we're going into Rocket. All you, buddy.
Okay, so we're going to Pic de Pinet. This is a very reasonably priced French wine. $125 bottle of this runs between $11 and $13. Which one am I in? This one?
Sure.
I never had it.
That's good.
This is the Riedel, and here we go.
Beautiful color.
I tend to be heavy on the pour. I've been told,
It's fine
so
by
I'm
me.
really trying to not go.
It's a home pour.
So this is so the Pic Pull is it's really a blending grape from the southern Rhone. It's sold a lot in the south of France now as kind of a varietal in and of itself. It is inexpensive, and for my money, if I'm going to have a $12 bottle of wine and I'm choosing between this and something from the Apothic line from California, this to me is a far superior wine. Nothing against the Apothic and barefoot Moscato wine drinkers, but please try something like this if you ever get to the point that you want to expand your palate.
Is
into
the
France.
alcohol content a little higher on the people?
I don't think so.
About the same?
I'm going to say it's probably around 12 or 13%.
Silky.
Oh, you called it, man. 14.1. That's a little north of what you get out of your Sauvignon
Yeah,
Blanc.
but that
over
2-point difference, but you can't really taste it. It's very smooth, very silky. It has a silkiness to
It's
it.
really good.
That's
Very
that's
smooth.
a
and it's
nice
not
sipping.
expensive, And that's why I wanted to bring a couple of wines on that are widely available that are really good. And if you brought this out to the family for the holidays and served it with the food, it's
Yeah.
it's,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
good. It's versatile. It's available. So that's why I brought
Beautiful
it.
color too. First thing I noticed when you poured it, even though the Sauvignon Blanc was very yellow, but this has a really straw-like
Yeah, almost like
characteristic.
Chardonnay, kind of that
Yes.
gold. I love that gold color that you get in some of the wines. So Chardonnay is this color, but it's a lot thicker. It's almost like milkier. But this one's got the gold color. It's just a cool wine.
It's beautiful. You can see the lights from a Christmas
They-
tree
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
illuminating through this.
Yep.
You're right.
Set the
Yes.
scene.
Yep.
Sing Christmas carols.
There was a when I was doing I used to do a lot of blind tasting, and when you're going through the grid, which is like this certification thing, it's called they would do this thing called Day Bright, and you would have to check the glints that are coming from the back of your hand, like going through the glass. I don't think they use that term anymore. I know they don't with
Glints?
WSC.
You said it was the word glint.
Yes, that was the term I believe that they said. But it's yeah, you can see the light just dancing off of this
Yeah.
one as opposed to the other ones. Flavor wise, I'm going to go with lemon. My wife is texting me in the middle of a show. She should know better by now,
Come on, Sandy.
but we all know that Sandy doesn't care. Okay, so
This is really good. I must say this is really good. And I think I've had Pickbull before. I think Jim has had a few on the show, and I might have had one in the past, but not this particular one. But this is
Yeah.
really good.
it's cool because it's got like, when you smell it, you think that it's going to be sweet, but then you taste it and it's not sweet.
It's a very mild aroma.
It is.
And since I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
And actually, since this is a holiday show, and in my rush to get to the studio, because we're all working, have busy days, I forgot to bring an item that I thought would be a great gift to buy. Now, Rocky has seen my aerator, my electric aerator that you put into a bottle.
I have seen your aerator. That you have a very nice aerator.
Well, that aerator bit the dust. Don't buy that one. It lasted a year
Don't
and a
buy
half
the electric aerator.
because of the batteries. Somehow the wine got in the mechanism and corroded the interior. Awful. However, I bought a brand new one that is chargeable and not only aerates the wine, but has a magnet in there that is supposed to actually even do more magic to the wine, which is why I brought it up. Have you heard of magnets being used in aerating wine?
Far be it from me to question the science behind magnets having any effect on
Yep.
wine. I'm going to guess that that's a term, let's just say bull excrement,
The
because
snake
this
oil
is a
thing?
family
Is that the
show.
snake oil?
I'm going to use family terminology, but yes, I think
But they did
there's some
emphasize
snake oil to the...
They did emphasize the aeration with natural aeration properties and built-in magnets. So I had to get it. I just
Hey.
it's just,
You serve me some wine out of it, I'll probably drink it.
but hopefully this one will last because it's chargeable. So there's actually no physical batteries you have to put into the system. So.
Hey, Rocky, can I ask you a question on the gift front?
Yeah.
Giving wine as a gift, as a layperson, it seems always like French wine has a cachet to it.
I would agree with that.
Do you think that? So,
I would agree
if
with
you
that,
have
yeah.
a choice between like a domestic wine and a French wine, do you think you like to impress someone?
I would go with the French wine. For everybody
always
out
been
there
my
listening, that's a very good question. I would go with the French wine. And again, for between $11 and $13, you can gift someone a bottle of wine that they're going to go, wow, this is a really good. They're going to think they're drinking a wine that costs $50. If they-
For white though, I'll emphasize white because
Yeah.
red French wines are not for everybody. Because sometimes I love them, and I think Rocky's halfway. I'm not sure if you're are you a big French red wine?
I love Burgundy. For Bordeaux, I think that I would prefer, wine geeky people, you're going to hate what I'm about to say. I prefer Napa and Sonoma cabs over Bordeaux.
Yeah, I think that's
for the
so
most
that,
part.
yeah.
I think that there's just, for a lot of Bordeaux's are just very poorly made these days. Well, a lot of stuff out of California is too. It's just a lot of the ones that I consume. I don't know. For reds out of France, I love the stuff in the Rhone, Côte de Rhone. I love Chateauneuf de Pape if I happen to have some money, but I'm probably not going to if I have that money, I'm not going to spend it on that. So it's like the thing about French red wines is that they do reach these high price points that if you want to say, hey, I would love to have this, $1,000, $1,500 bottle of DRC today, but I don't have $1,500 to spend on a bottle of wine. But if I've got $15 to spend, probably going to head over to Italy for reds.
Okay.
I mean, that's just me.
Interesting.
You know, for the most bang for your buck, that's probably where I'm going to go. Now, we are about to hit on a French red that is in the kind of 19 to 21, they're around $20 price range, and it is delicious in my opinion. But a lot of people don't want to spend $20 on a bottle of wine, so it's really hard for me to say. But you can see when we head over to this, I don't want to scoot to the net. Well, you guys are already done with yours. I was going to say, what are we tasting on this one? We don't know what we're
You can
tasting.
finish yours, and actually, maybe on the next show in 2022, we had a party recently. Like, weren't we talking about a big wine scam or scandal that happened? What were you guys talking to? Where an importer or a wine collector was manufacturing or saving old bottles?
You talking about Rudy Kerwinian?
Was it a movie that
There was a movie. I don't remember the name of the movie.
collector
but there
would-
was a guy. Yeah, he
would
made
save
a
the bottles
fortune.
of expensive wine, empty bottles?
No, he was printing his own labels.
printing his own labels, then
I mean, this
and
guy
then
had it.
rebottling them.
Yep.
What was the name of that
was.
movie? Do you remember?
I can't remember. I
It's a
know I've seen
fascinating
it.
story, though. It's a really
Because folks
fascinating.
weren't
Yeah.
picking up on it.
No, he made millions of dollars
Yeah,
selling
he did. He was
counterfeit wine.
He sold the Koch brothers a bottle of Chateau Lafite from like 1870. It was like so old that you're like, there's no way this guy has a bottle of Lafite that's 150 years old. And they bought it, and I think they paid like $100 and something thousand for it.
We better get to our red because we're winding down to our last few minutes.
I went
We
fast.
talk too much, yeah.
I'm going to stop
Because this is
talking about the
important.
Koch brothers.
I went super fast.
I want
I
this
mean,
to be
we've
my
got a Republican here, the Koch brothers. I figured it'd be a good.
I want this to be my 2022 Red Wave wine. Oh, beautiful color, Rock.
Yeah. This is nice. There you go.
There we go.
And the price point you said was about 19 or 20?
Right around 19 to 21. It's in that kind of $20 price range. This is a Pinot Noir. It is from Burgundy, France. Burgundian Pinot Noir tends to be very expensive. This one is from Louis Jadot. You'll see a lot of Louis Jadot labels out there. This is kind of on the lower end of their labels, but it's still delicious for Pinot Noir.
This
Absolutely
is
spectacular.
Yeah, I love this. I think this might be my favorite. For this.
I gotta say, this is everything that I love about a French wine. This is just bursting with character, flavor, mild flavors, but at the same time, it dries your mouth out, but it leaves you with a lot of good stuff.
Yep.
So, absolutely fantastic.
How much time do we have left on this?
I think we have a minute left.
To talk.
Yeah.
1 minute?
We went on too
Oh
long.
my
about
God.
my
Why
burning
did
of the
you
shirt.
let me keep the? You got to
It
tell
was my
me to
burning of
shut
the
up.
shirt story.
But
But-
this is great.
Absolutely delicious.
I get a
Rocky.
little long.
And
in
this
the
is
tooth.
another great choice for the holidays.
You could have this wrapping presents.
Absolutely.
Can we say what this tastes like? I'm going to say cherries.
Cherry. Oh
Obviously
yes,
with you.
absolutely.
What else?
Cherries.
Maybe
Dark fruit cherries. I'm going to go with maybe a little plum. Just a tiny little
a
plum.
little bit of plum.
Little
I'm
bit
going to
of
say
plum.
cranberry.
But not sweet.
It's got a little bit of cranberry on it. Yeah.
That's
Definitely.
perfect.
Yes.
Cranberry.
I taste that more than the cherry.
And sometimes with Pinot Noirs from France, you get raspberry. I don't get a lot of raspberry on this one. Maybe a little tiny bit, but yeah.
And no cloying. This is what I like about French wines. There's
No,
none of
it
that
just-
cloying sweet nonsense.
It doesn't stick to them. Yeah, it's very, very good.
So, guys, I want to say, look, we're going to be going. This show's going to be on in 2022. 2020 is going to be an interesting year all the way around, both politically and for the wine show. I think we're going to try to do some different stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that we haven't done before. We're going to do the wine tasting, the glasses, no question about it, with the different style glasses, and maybe some other little interesting quirks. Rocky, maybe we'll do some more restaurants or some.
Yeah, we got the mobile crew now, and we can head out to restaurants and do that thing. I mean, we're coming up in the world here at WHCI.
You are.
And
You
Chris,
are.
you're free, a little bit freer now, so
Yeah.
I plan to spend a little bit more time with you. So
Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on, guys. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is my third or fourth show with you, I think. Definitely, I know I've done three. Yeah, three shows with you. So.
So I want to thank both
times.
Rocky and Chris again for a great year, especially with our 10-year celebration we had this year for doing the show. Rocky, I think it was your third or fourth year with us. And I want to thank all you guys for watching, and we're looking forward to an exciting 2022. Have a great Christmas, have a great New Year, and until 2022, keep me, Bobby P,
And Rocky H.
and even Chris Williams
In your wine cellar.